digging the new funky music that YouTube is playing now. when you lead off the music is oh, I like that. I was digging that. Oh, let's give them something to talk about. Let's talk about the New York Giants and the veteran quarterbacks that are available out right now in the marketplace. Oh, when we start out sound effects early, it's going to be a good show. There are so many options right now in reference to the New York Giants and what they could do if they decide to go a veteran quarterback. I am not I'm not T-Brad. What's up, man? You got to come on the show, dude. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that I think I'm not going to sit there and tell you I think these options of veteran quarterbacks is the way to go. I really don't. I think that if you're going to get a quarterback, go get a quarterback and just get him in the draft and just call it a day and let the kid play. Just let him play. That's it. Why? Because it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to sell to your fan base if you all of a sudden turn around and put up another 3-win stinker. The venerable Joe Shane can sit there and go, well, what happened was we had a rookie quarterback. We need to have more continuity with this rookie, and year 2 will be so much better. So Joe can buy himself a second year or 5th year, 4th year. How many fucking years it's been? It feels like, Eli Manning, Dan Jones seemed like an eternity. Joe Shane is now reaching that crescendo. He is reaching that fact that this literally seems like an eternity. And I keep hearing the Matthew Stafford rumors. Oh, dear Lord. If you actually, and this is the thing that, when you listen to other content creators, listen to other podcasts, you listen to other, whatever the hell they're called on that other streaming service, Spaces. Everyone's like, they're going to trade us. Matthew Stafford. Well, if you actually listen to the media in Los Angeles and listen to sports media in Los Angeles, they're already talking about they're just going to renegotiate his contract. That they understand that his value is probably underpaid in the market, but they also can't do something detrimental to the team in reference to increasing his salary, but they also understand that if they get rid of Matthew Stafford, they're not going to have a quarterback. So there's a bridge. There's a bridge over troubled water. There's a bridge in LA that's being built between Matthew Stafford and the Rams. So I find it highly unlikely that Sean McVay, who almost retired a couple years ago, is going to sit there and say, you know what? Let's get rid of this kid. He's not even a kid, 37. Let's get rid of this guy. And let's bring in another veteran or get a rookie because we have playoff aspirations. Am I the only one that sees this? But no, because the people in LA see it. Because like I said, you have to literally, and it's cool. You can like Google LA newspapers. And you have a totally different perspective of what they actually think in that market. So Sam Darnold to me is out. Besides, why do you want a 37-year-old quarterback? Watch this. Watch this. You ready for this? You have a 37-year-old quarterback with a losing record because people forget. There's already talk about Matthew Stafford making the Hall of Fame. He has a losing record. And we all know that the quarterback record is the precursor into getting into the Hall of Fame. We all know that. Because we just saw that with Eli Manning. But I don't think McVay is stupid enough. And I don't think that, and I have to check, see if there's a no trade clause, but I don't think Matthew Stafford is raising his hand. Well, yeah, he also, what's up? Yeah, he also did trade away Goff. And I forget, after they traded away Goff and brought in that Matthew Stafford guy, what happened? Did they win a Super Bowl? Oh, yeah, they won a Super Bowl. So that's really not a good comparison. Because Goff was a good quarterback, and people thought he was, wait for it, a systems quarterback. And then he moved to Detroit, and Detroit kind of put in a similar system as LA, and that's why he's successful. But they actually won a quarterback by getting rid of Jared Goff. And where did Jared Goff go? Oh, he was part of the Matthew Stafford deal. Then we think about this one. I love this one because Zach Attacks nailed it. Russell Wilson is too old and fat for this team. Wait a minute. Hold on. You know we got to have.
Stupid Giant Twitter post.
Oh, this one goes out to Fireside Giants, who basically said that Russell Wilson is their pick for the quarterback position. And I kind of mentioned to him, I said, well, what was Russell Wilson's record before Sean Payton got there, before he actually had a head coach? How well did he play in Denver? And every year he's getting older. And now you are going to ask a guy who we told a year ago, you're not worth $1 million and you don't have the ability or the capability of beating out Daniel Jones. So we don't want you, even though we're your first stop. And I laugh because you're actually going to have to pay Russell Wilson this year because the Denver money is gone. He's not getting the Denver money. Denver still has a salary cap issue with the Russell Wilson contract, but they're not paying him anymore. So he's not going to want $1 million. He's probably going to want anywhere between $9 to $15 million. And I love it because I know we have a plethora of cap space, but we don't have a quarterback on the roster. So that usually takes up anywhere between 15 to 20% of your roster. But hey, whatever. But we're not going to bring in an older Russell Wilson who flamed out in Pittsburgh under Mike Tomlin and that offense. And you're going to expect him to come here and run the offense of Brian Daboll, even though our offense consists of, wait for it, throwing the ball to Malik Neighbors. Dennis says, Fireside Giants, their hearts are in the right place. They better, they'll get better once they pass puberty. I asked a guy once on Fireside Giants, I said, your experience in playing football, when you strapped on the helmet and you actually hit somebody, explain to me, certain nuances of the game. Explain to me with your experience doing that. Evidently they played tennis. Listen, tennis is to me, and no offense, tennis to me is one rung below soccer. Okay, that's a just. Oh, I know you're just. I'm not, Louis. I'm not bashing you, dude. I'm not bashing you, man. I'm not bashing you. I got it, but I'm just pointing stuff out. Just talking football, Tim. Lowell, you're right though. I'm just pointing stuff out. I'm not. Nothing ever directed to you, my brother. I'm glad when you're in the checks, you have very insightful comments. Hey, I got time today, brother. All right, well, give me a few minutes, T-Brad. We're going to bring T-Brad on. Matthew says, what's up, Tim and OBB family? No, Stafford. If Cam or Shador says yes to Hunter and fix the secondary. I do agree. I do agree with that. Let's see what else. What do we say here? Is there any way we could trade for Trevor Lawrence? No, this Trevor Lawrence thing is so stupid. Trevor Lawrence is not getting moved. The owner of the Jaguars, Khan, basically said, that's by William Shatner, basically said, he's not trading him. This is just internet fodder. That's all this is. Because you're going to rep this. You trade Trevor Lawrence, you are wrecking the salary cap of two teams, and you're not getting the quarterback in Jacksonville. James says, why would you trade for Trevor Lawrence? His skill level is suspect. I don't think Trevor Lawrence's skill level is suspect. The problem is his injury history is, and I think I think he has not progressed to the point that he should be at this point in time. But let's continue talking about quarterbacks, though. Justin Fields is the next one on everyone's list. All Giant fans love Justin Fields. We hated Justin Fields when he came out of the draft. I liked him. We mocked him as an inferior quarterback in Chicago when we had Daniel Jones. But for all of a sudden now, with this resurgence and a 4-2 record, he's the guy. I had to hear how he's got all the before he didn't have all the physical tools. Now I'm hearing by Giant content creators, he's got all the physical tools. He's got all the tools to make those throws on Sunday. Yeah, just hated him 2 years ago. And he's another guy that if he has the opportunity, if Russell Wilson is truly out in Pittsburgh and he has this opportunity to stay in Pittsburgh, why would he leave the Steelers to go to the Giants? You would have to overpay him. And he's more of a running quarterback. He's not. He's more of a quarterback who can run. You know, he does have some. He threw some nice balls in Chicago, but is he really a guy you can build a defense? Build your offense around? The other name we hear all the time is Jameis Winston. Can we just bring back Mike Glennon then? Jameis Winston would be fun for like a week. For like 3 weeks, maybe. And then he is going to annoy the shit out of you. I've heard this before from other people that have seen Jameis Winston's play. I've heard it out of Tampa. He will annoy the living shit out of you with his interceptions. I always talk about that one of the last games he had in Tampa. He threw more touchdowns for interceptions for touchdowns than he did touchdowns, and he had like 4 touchdowns. He will be infuriating. He will make Dable lose his hair. And then, of course, there's Sam Darnold. There's Sam Darnold. 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, over 4,000 yards. The career resurgence in the Dome. Hell, Daniel Jones played well in the Dome. You really think Sam Darnold's going to want to go back to MetLife? Do you really think that the ghosts of Darnold past are going to want him to go back to MetLife? That's insanity at its finest. That you're really going to think that's going to be an option for somebody. I don't know. If you take a look from the perspective of what is truly out there and what is truly available and what you could truly have available outside of trades, I'm not really enamored by any of the names because all the names have warts. All right, here we go. Aaron Rodgers. And I asked people about this in Giant Land. How many games did Aaron Rodgers have last year where he didn't even throw for 200 yards? The Jets made it an edict to go out and get all these weapons, go out and make all these trades to make Aaron Rodgers better and more comfortable. I'm not seeing how that worked out. Oh, I know how it worked out. It didn't work out well. And you're going to bring a 40-plus-year-old quarterback, put him behind a suspect offensive line with one weapon, and you're going to have to worry about your running game in regards to Tyrone Tracy because you're probably going to have to still find a running back in this draft, and you are going to sit there and think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be the answer. Oh, I know ECK I know that reports of the Giants don't want to. I'm talking about Giant fans, not the Giants themselves. I'm talking about Giants fans. I'm not talking about the Giants. Daryl says, good morning, Tim and OBB family. Just a question. Why would any free agent not desperate for work want to come to the Giants? That's the $1 million question. That is really the $1 million question. Why? Besides money? Josh Jacobs, when he signed with the Packers, basically said, yeah, the Packers gave me a lot of money. But he goes, the Packers also sat me down and talked about the franchise, talked about the lineage, the history, the Lombardi trophies, Vince Lombardi, Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, they talked about that. They built up the team, the organization as a destiny. Now this is fucking Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm not knocking Green Bay, Wisconsin, but it's not the hotbed to go to. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people are like, you know what I want to move to? I want to move to Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's fucking cold in the winter. They have nice summers, but it's not a hotbed for people to go move to. But he went there because they have a winning, I hate this word because Joe Judge, they have a winning culture. And that's what he said repeatedly. They have a winning culture here in Green Bay. I wanted to be a part of the winning culture. We have 2 playoff appearances. 14 years? 12, 14 years. We have 2 playoff appearances and 1 win. And even in that 1 win, we got smoked. We got smoked by the likes of Philadelphia and Jalen Hurts. Think about it that way. What does King have to say here with the super chat? What is this? I heard a song. King Supreme says, Love said AR was a good mentor. I find that funny because if you remember when Aaron Rodgers got drafted by Green Bay, Brett Favre didn't want anything to do with him. He basically even said that. And then I remember when Jordan Love got drafted, Aaron Rodgers in the beginning didn't want anything to do with him. So, I mean, he may be a good mentor. I mean, like I said, if you talk to a lot of the Jets, some Jets loved him, and some Jets thought he was a dick and not a good teammate. I just can't bring in Aaron Rodgers to mentor Shador or Cam Ward or Kyle McCord. Slip that Kyle McCord in there for Big Don. I just can't see it. What do we got here? I think the Giants want to get Kerry Collins route and have history repeat itself, or Kurt Warner route. I'm just thinking out loud. Kurt Warner route, I don't think they want. Kurt Warner had the team at 7-6 when he got benched for Eli Manning that year. He was infuriating. Kurt Warner was infuriating that year. Oh my God, 2004. He was infuriating. I don't even think is a good word. Now, I do think they may want to go the Kerry Collins route. I do think that because Kerry Collins, like I said, was a reclamation project. I'm just trying to think who out there could have a Sam Darnold-esque season. There was a few and far in between. I mean, you go back to think the likes of Tommy Maddox when he came out of left field to have that season in Pittsburgh after he flamed out in Denver and New York as being a first round pick. I mean, you never know, though. I mean, like I said, if he's a good mentor, I mean, I don't know. But Kerry Collins, like I said, I just can't think who we would do the Kerry Collins route, because you got to remember, Kerry Collins had the drinking problem in Carolina, and that's what led to his release. That and the racial issues led to his release, and then he got picked up by New Orleans with Ditka, and he didn't last very long in New Orleans before he got released again. And then, like I said, the Giants stepped in shit with Kerry Collins, which is kind of what I think we need to do. We need to step in shit a little bit and find a guy like that. Yeah, Kerry Collins did fumble a lot, but Kerry Collins led you to a Super Bowl in 2000, 4,000 plus yards, a lot of touchdowns. I mean, like I said, I would do a Kerry Collins stop quarterback. Hey, Big Don, let's go, Big Tim, 315, baby. 315, of course, is the area code for Syracuse. For people that do not know that. Got you guys. Yeah, like I said, I'm just, come on, man. You haven't been in the chat in a while, brother. Let's see. Why are the God Green Earthwood Pittsburgh give field to us? Because every team wants to give us everything. Zacatech says ESPN's quarterback record is so dumb, like QBR. In my opinion, ESPN has made fans. I agree. I think ESPN's made fans stupider a word, as we'll call it dumber. They made fans dumber than anything else. Because of the fact, I've said this before. A lot of people don't know this. Aaron Rodgers, his first season with the Jets, had a winning record. He was 1-0. He started the game, played 6 snaps before he blew out his Achilles, but he still got the win. Yeah, go look it up. Not lying. He still got the win. And he didn't even play. He only played in 90. He only played in 2% of the game, but he got the win. ECK said, I wouldn't mind Russ. I'm worried that he's going to get $20 million, though. It's not like there are great options outside of him. I don't like Fields, Winston E., so maybe Mariota. I don't know if Marcus Mariota is going to leave his current situation. I mean, but to I forgot who said it, but to his point, to everyone's point, why would you want to leave any situation and come to New York? Besides the fact that nobody else wants you. Paris Campbell said, Kirk Cousins. We got to get into Kirk Cousins. Paris Campbell said it best. No other team outside of the Giants offered me a contract. That's why Paris Campbell came here. No other team offered him a contract. It wasn't like the fact that he was so in love with New York he had to come here. He even said nobody offered him a deal. That's why he came to New York. Let's give him something to talk about. I can't do. I don't know. Marcus Mariota. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. What do you think we should bring in as a bridge quarterback? Do you think like any quarter? Do you like any quarterback in the draft? Well, I've already said this before. I'm down with Shador. I'm down with Cam Ward. I do think Cam Ward's going to be a better quarterback. I think both of these quarterbacks are the top two quarterbacks in this draft. I don't think anyone outside of them should be taken anywhere in the first 4 rounds because the majority of the guys that are coming out after them probably would have been drafted last year. I did a whole video yesterday about why I like Kyle McCord. I don't want to go into it. But Kyle McCord reminds me of Eli Manning. He's not going to be a guy that's going to step out of the pocket. He's got great mechanics. He's a guy that goes through his progressions. He throws with anticipation. I was talking to Big Don about the Miami game. And if you go back and watch to the Miami game, when guys were running curl routes, he was throwing to a spot. He was throwing with anticipation, and he was throwing before the break. We haven't seen that in years. And he calls audibles. What the hell is that about? What kind of motherfucker does that? Reports. Oh, we got that one already. Let's see here. Good morning, Stu. What's up? Any chance we could get Dave Brown? Oh, why don't we just get Riley Leonard? Oh, Kerry Collins with fumble of the pass rusher. Boo. Justin Fields draft award. Chris, I'm going to say it again. Why would Justin Fields want to come here? You are trying to resurrect your career. You are trying to prove to the NFL that you are ready for your big contract because he missed out on his big contract. So you are ready. You want to showcase your skill set. Why would you want to come here and flame out under a bad New York offense? And the offense has been bad for 3 years. Don't anyone fool themselves on that 9-7-1 season. Break down the offense that year. It was terrible. In 2 of those games, well, one of the games we had Saquon Barkley playing running back against the Bears, and we should have lost to the Texans. It was the big play capability of Darius Slayton that broke past the defender on a pass that probably should have been intercepted. What's up, Frank? Hey, Tim, I love the old school intro the other day. It makes me want to dance South Park styles. I didn't have my soundboard that day. Mr. Taz, Kirk Cousins because the next Eli Manning for the Giants. No Kirk Cousins. Oh, my God. Dear Lord. Kirk Cousins, during a playoffs, got benched for Michael Penix. So people want to bring in a washed-up Kirk Cousins. Now, the only good thing about bringing in a washed-up Kirk Cousins is the fact that if he gets released by Atlanta's picking up most of his salary next year. So you can probably get him on a Justin Field-esque deal. But the dude's washed up. I watched him play in Atlanta. I love the dish, the NFL Network. He's washed up. And I've said this before. It would be like Joe Willie, name it, going to the Rams from the Jets. It's just, he's done. He's over. It's time to move on. James said the Giants need to draft the top quarterback in the draft, sign a veteran who can teach the rookie to play the game in the NFL. Kirk Cousins might work here. Do you want? No. I don't want Kirk Cousins. I'm going to say this. And I've actually talked to someone in the NFL that mentioned this years ago. The mentor thing, the mentorship, is highly overrated in the NFL. When people talk about, well, you need to get him a mentor. He needs a mentor. He needs a mentor to be the mentor. And I said once, I said, you got to bring this guy as a mentor. And this guy's like, I said, what? He goes, you have a head coach. You have an offensive coordinator. You have a quarterback's coach. These are the guys that are going to, you have offensive assistants. You sometimes even have a passing coordinator. These are the guys that are going to mentor your quarterback. Daniel Jones was mentored by Eli Manning. And I think we'll just leave it at that. Big Tim, what's up, Fabian? What's going on, man? I haven't seen Fabian in a while. Stu, can we get a Fran Tarkenton again? He might be better than Kirk Cousins. What's up? Everything's good. Everything's up. Big Tim, we got Mr. Alvarez saying, if I'm the GM, I'm going cheap this year so I would have more money in the free agent class next year. What would you or maybe Taylor Heineke as a bridge? I don't know. Is Heineke a free agent? I wouldn't mind a Tyler Heineke. I wouldn't mind that if I had to really think about it. It wouldn't bother me because as long as there's the understanding that the rookie's going to start at some time. And that's the other thing. You are going to bring in these guys to mentor. This is the big thing. We're going to bring these guys in to mentor. They're going to have the Kurt Warner philosophy and the Kurt Warner understanding that at the end of the day, you are there to be replaced by the guy that you know what you need? You need a Tyrod Taylor. How many times was Tyrod Taylor replaced or as the placeholder for an up-and-coming rookie? Big Don. Kyle McCord. And plus, if you have a rookie, he's going to have all the offseason, all the rookie camps, all the mini camps, training camp, and all the preseason to learn the system. Let's see here. Let's see. Big Don Kyle McCord will lead us to the Super Bowl. I think so. Reno. He's wearing his white shoes. Reno Tower with his white shoes, and we win 12 games. Best of Times, great football movie. If you haven't seen it before, us old people know what that is. Mara needs to sell to Eli Manning. Yeah, I think he does. To the same Penix the Giants could have drafted. Yes, the same Penix that my Giants could have had. I think about this a lot. You probably could have had Michael Penix. You could have probably traded back, gotten back in the first round, and had Michael Penix and either a Lad McConkey or a Brian Thomas Jr. So you could have had your quarterback and your wide receiver last year. Lou says, Tim, would you give up a third pick and Tibbs and the house for Josh for Josh Allen? Which Josh Allen? Josh Allen, the linebacker, or is it Josh Hines Allen now in Jacksonville, or Josh Allen, the quarterback? Listen, I would, if they wanted to trade Josh Allen, it doesn't, I mean, yeah, you'd have to do it, but it doesn't make sense because we're not a Josh Allen away from being good. You were going to burn the latter half of Josh Allen's career to be a Giant because the Giants aren't going to be good for at least another 3 years. And then Josh Allen will be in year 10, year 11. I mean, yeah, I would give up the third pick, Tibbs. And if you told me they would take the third overall pick, Kayvon Thibodeau, and maybe you wanted some furniture from the offices at MetLife, I would drive it. I got a big F-150 out front. I know that's shocking. I would drive it. I would drive it over there for him. Mr. Taz says, but Kirk Cousins is white, tall, pure passing quarterback. Yes, like the other day, I had to check to make sure Kyle McCord was white, and he is. Daryl says the Giants haven't proven that they can develop young quarterbacks since Eli Manning, Davis Webb, Ryan Nesmith, Kyle Letta, Jones, and the Cutlets. You're right. We haven't. Where in this history outside Eli Manning and Phil Simms have we? Well, and Charlie Conley, that we have cultivated a quarterback. You literally can go back and Scott Bruner, Jeff Rutledge, Joe Pisarcik, Dave Brown, Ken Cram, Danny Cannell. I mean, there is a long list of bodies littered on the quarterback row for the Giants. How about Jackson Dart? No. No. Jackson Dart is not a guy that can play under center. And I know people say, well, Tim is a shotgun league. I understand that. Can't play in the pocket. We talked about how Kyle McCord's mechanics break down under duress. Same thing with Jackson Dart. And he had 19 touchdowns. He had 29 touchdowns. He had 19 of them in 4 games. And one of them was against Furman, which, of course, is the top liberal arts college in the South. I think the other one was Southern Georgia, Arkansas, Duke, and I can't remember the other wasteful team that he played against. Watch the film against Kentucky and Florida. People are going to point out the Georgia game. But watch the game against Kentucky and Florida. Watch the Senior Bowl. I've talked about it before. If you watch the 7-on-7 drills at the Senior Bowl practice, there was a play, and I've talked about it millions of times, that he lofted a ball into the corner of the end zone, leading his wide receiver, and he didn't even see the safety. Number 47, I can't remember, it was 47 or 45 out of Georgia, came streaking over like a fucking missile. And it's like, it's a 7-on-7 drill. How did you not know where the safety was? Then they talk, and he also fumbled twice, and how many sacks in the Senior Bowl? I mean, everyone's going to talk about that big Senior Bowl play where they threaded the eye of the needle between those two defenders, hit that receiver. Okay, if he actually had the arm strength and threw it in front of the receiver instead of behind him, it's a touchdown and not a great catch by the wideout. No. Yep, Heineke is a free agent according to Sports Track. Okay, I would do Heineke. We could re-sign Tyrod. No, we can't re-sign Tyrod Taylor because he's like 497 years old. Assuming they'd come here, who would you want to sign as our bridge quarterback? Assuming that they would come here, I'm either going to go with Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. I don't want a bridge. I don't want a bridge. I don't want a bridge over Giants Stadium. Bring in a quarterback. Draft a rookie. How much is it real? You've seen the rumors that the Titans would take a swap and 2 number 3s, third-round picks. If that's truly the case, and that's what the Titans want, I'm running up there with that to give to the Titans so I can take Cam Ward. Bring in some camp arms. Bring in some guys that are going to be, if you want to bring in a veteran, fine, but bring in a veteran with the understanding you're not playing. The kid's playing because we're going to suck. So he's got to learn. And I think both Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders could come in immediately and start. Anyone else in this draft as a quarterback position, you are going to have to bring in a bridge. If there was a bridge quarterback that didn't make me want to vomit, I would probably go with Justin Fields. But then again, why would Justin Fields want to come here? Fun fact, the NFC East is 20% of all Super Bowls. Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, and Eagles. Didn't know that. They don't need a bridge. Thank you, Fabian. You don't need a bridge. Just let the kid play. Unless you are going to bring in a McCord, a Dart, a Riley Leonard. The kids just let the kid play. Like at the Bad News Bears and Breaking Training. Let them play. Let them play. I think Shane might do a Gettleman this offseason and get fired. Down for that. Breaking news, the Giants trade number 3 pick and Dexter Lawrence for Gardner Minshew. Listen, I dig the porn stash. I thought he would have been a good bridge a couple of years ago. Not anymore. I think Minshew was done. I like Stafford, but 37 years old, injury history, and you're going to put him against in this offense in the cold. And you're Matthew Stafford. You're sitting in there, you got your bikini model wife, you're sunning yourself in LA. You know, you got McVay, you got your Super Bowl ring on, you're sitting there at the beach, looking around going, yeah, man, I keep this up here, I'm going to be potentially a Hall of Famer. And then they say to you, hey, what about getting traded to New York? Anybody can trade with the Giants. I would look at them and say, fuck you. I am not going. Why would I want to go there when I'm here? I'm a god here. Now the cap went up to 20 million-ish. I'm worried that Shane is going to ruin his own team building strategy again. Oh, you know he's going to. The salary cap going up every year. And here's the thing about people I love, Mr. Alvarez. I'm not bashing you. I'm not talking about you. I love people when they're like, we're now going to have $68 million in salary cap space. You don't think all the other free agents in this league know that? You don't think that the free agents in this league are going to bump up their price by like 20 million? Really? So you think that guy that was going to cost you 8 just a few weeks ago probably is going to cost you 10 now? Just checking on Dart. Many want no. Bad, Fabian. Bad. Stay. No Jackson Dart. We're getting a dog. Just practicing. Getting another dog. Why? Because I'm stupid. I got 2. The ecosystem in the house is beautiful. The dogs are well trained. They're big. They're big dogs, but they're well trained. They're very loving. But my son wants a dog. But he wants a dog because he even says, "Dad, these dogs are yours." It's like, yeah, because I take care of the motherfuckers 24/7. I'm about 6 a.m. with these idiots, and I put them to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and they always hang out with me. So yeah, these are my dogs. He's like, I want my own dog, and I'm like, oh Jesus. So being the stupid parent that I am, I'm like, okay. So we're going this weekend to look at dogs. Heard a mock draft the other day. He loved Tyler. Oh my God, no more with this kid. This was Schlaub, whatever the hell his name is. No more with Tyler. Oh, I keep hearing about this kid over and over again. You always have a guy in the draft that's a fast riser. We had that last year with JJ McCarthy. You know, that the big name was McCarthy. The big name. You know, but Tyler, man, Tyler out of Louisville. Yeah, he's out of Louisville. That's right. I don't remember where he's from. He's another one of these golden hair kids. Oh, but just look at the locks flowing at 6'5", 224 pounds. He's gonna be 26. Has anyone heard of Brandon? Has anyone besides myself heard of Brandon Whedon? Chris Winkie? He's played 42 games across, wait for it, 7 college seasons. Multiple collarbone injuries. Actually sounds like the perfect Giant pick. The dude is going to be collecting Social Security before the start of the season. No! Danny Dead says it needs to hit on the quarterback. The only way I can recover from PTSD, post-traumatic stress from the last 6 years of Daniel Jones syndrome. Oh, I agree. Daryl says, I think Flacco could be a decent mentor. Cheap and would start a few games. I would do a Joe Flacco.
That's what she said.
He threw for what? 400 yards a couple of the games. If Joe Flacco comes in with the understanding that Colin McCord, I'm really saying Colin McCord, that Colin McCord is the starting quarterback. If Joe Flacco comes in with the understanding that Cam Ward is the guy, he did with Anthony Richardson. And I don't know how good of a mentor he is because has anyone seen Andy Richardson play? Just throwing that out there. Did you know that the Giants were the first team to go 0-6 in their division? Yes. And they also went 1-7 at home. And they're probably going to go 0-8 at home next year. But yes, I did know that. But thank you though for bringing that up. Dennis and Stafford may be desperate to resign. Matthew Stafford's not leaving LA. I'm just telling people now. Who was the last QB mentor for any team? That's a good question. Mr. Taz says, penalty salary cap doesn't exist for Howie Rosen. No, Howie Rosen, Mr. Taz. I've said this before. Howie Roseman is the mad fucking scientist when it comes to salary cap. He is the mad scientist. Listen, can we just end it? We know Myles Garrett is going to Philly. We know it. He doesn't fit in the salary cap. He can't make it work, but he's going to Philly. Howie is, and if you look at what Howie does, and we've talked about this before when everyone talks about the Jalen Hurts contract, how Jalen Hurts' contract was going to destroy this team, how Jalen Hurts' contract was so much worse than Daniel Jones' contract. And I kept trying to explain to people, Jalen Hurts doesn't hit $42 million in cap space until 2027. His cap number in 2025 is $21 million. 2026, it's $31 million. 2027, it's $42 million, and then they have an out. He doesn't count for – this is a guy that signed, a $300 million contract? He doesn't count. He doesn't count – the most he counts on the salary cap is 13%, and that is going to be in 2027. Howie does this. He front loads the contracts. He puts this exorbitant amount of dead cap space in the beginning half of the deal. His dead cap number 2023 was 110 million. 2024 it's 120 million. 2025 it's 107 million. In 2026 it's 52 million. Why does he do this? Because he gives all that bonus money up front. Why does he do this, though? Because it lowers the cap percentage hit of his quarterback so he can sign other people. And I love it because Jalen Hurts came to Howie and said to him, I want a no-trade clause in my contract. Howie just leaned back, grabbed a cigar, and smiled and said, you got it, dude. Why? Because he knows for 3 seasons from 2023 to 2024, he can't move the contract because he's got $100 million in dead cap space. That's why he's a fucking genius. I've said this before. Take our 5th round pick, ship it over to Philadelphia, and say to Howie, could you do us a favor? And could you draft our 1st and 2nd round pick? Outside of one guy in 2020, he hit on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys, which built this roster with foundational pieces like we were supposed to do because we've said it before. Nobody can screw up 5 and 7. Agents who know got cap space. Agents know. That's the other thing, Dennis. Agents know there's more money out there, which increases the market value of every player. I wonder if Milroe is still a play for us. Jalen Milroe. Everyone's now down on Jalen Milroe. I've said this before. I like Jaden more than Jackson Dart. Even with his horrendous Senior Bowl, I still like Jaden. Would I take him? Would I take him in the first 2-3 rounds? Probably not. But would I take him in later in the draft at 6? What is that? They say he's 6'1". I still probably think he's 6 feet. I mean, would I take? Is he a Lamar Jackson? No. Listen, out of Louisville, Lamar Jackson was only hitting like 50% of his passes, and they always said he was going to have accuracy issue. This guy couldn't even hit the broadside of a barn at times in Jalen Milroe. Inconsistent is being nice in reference to his mechanics, in reference to his throwing motions, in reference to his ability. But I would still take a flyer on him. Milroe is like the 6th quarterback in the class right now, and that's all going to change. That will all change when it comes around. The Giants trade for the Saints for the 3rd spot for Derek Carr. Mr. Taz, stop putting that out in the ether. Though he is a tall, white, blonde pocket passer, he's perfect. He's just been in college for 7 years. You know what they call a guy that's been in college for 7 years? Doctor. Oh, we can't draft slot because the spell check keeps changing his name. It really does. Big Don, people want an injured Louisville quarterback, recent injuries who turn their nose up on Penix. That's another thing. We said that we did not want Michael Penix because of his injury history, but we want to get out of Louisville, who's 497 years old, has multiple collarbone injuries. Can't make shit. You literally can't make shit up. Mr. Ramos says the worst with the Giants drafting is they are not being too many good players still on the board. Giants thinking they know better. Someone's picked the worst prospect available. The Giants, going back to the Gettleman, always think that they're pulling the wool over people's eyes by taking pros. I've said this going back to Gettleman. I've said this a couple times. Dave Gettleman, going back to Matt from Connecticut. Dylan Gabriel, no. No, we're not drafting Dylan Gabriel. I've watched Dylan Gabriel back at UCF. He got exposed in the bowl game. He was being prolific on that UCF Golden Knights team against less inferior competition. He's just not the guy. You could see that he's just not an NFL quarterback. The Giants under Dave Gettleman used to take projected talent. And I did a whole video about this. They would think that old Matt from Connecticut, who went on to play well in San Francisco at times. but they take projected or perceived talent. When Matt from Connecticut was drafted, I kept telling people he is not going to be a starter for 4 years. Because if you watched him play at Kentucky, you watched him play up in Connecticut, he was not going to be a starter for at least 4 years. And I kept saying that he's not a starter for at least 4 years because you look at his size, look at his frame, look at his competition, you looked at his ability, but the Giants perceived him to project him to be a Hall of Famer, All Pro in 3 years. And I kept saying they passed on guys that have immediate talent that may peak in year 1 and 2, but can start and play for you right now. They may not be any better than they're going to be in year 2 or 3, but at least they can play with you right now and be competent. And that's what the Giants do. They look, and Joe Shane has done the same thing. He looks at talent and says, I perceive this talent to be X, when really it's Y, and you're perceiving it to be X in 2026. I kept telling people, I need guys that can play now. Make sure you hit the like button, guys. I need starters who can come in and play now, not in 2026. Mr. Taz says, Howie will pick the guy for you if you take Kenny Pickett in his contract. No. Maybe. 100% give our picks to Howie. Will we sign Jimmy Garoppolo? The Garoppolo a couple years ago, I think would have been a good option for the Giants. A nice bridge option. I really do think that. Would I do that now? No. Because of the fact that he's always hurt. He doesn't really fit if you go by what the perception is of the Dable offense, he doesn't really fit that. So I mean that would kind of lead you into a quandary. So I'm gonna have to say no. But that Daryl says Howie would draft Dylan Gabriel, and Gabriel for us at number 3. He probably would. I know that was a joke. Who was the last successful quarterback mentor on any team? I'm gonna go Johnny Unitas and Earl Morrall. Will Levis. I kept telling people Will Levis is not a quarterback. I kept saying to people over and over again, Will Levis is a more athletic Daniel Jones. 100%. What are custom layouts? What does this button do? What does this button do? Custom layout 5. Oh, I got all these custom layouts, but they're not doing it. I don't know. How about Alan Bowman, Oklahoma State quarterback? I'm going Reno Hightower. I'm going to go with T. Brown. T. Brown, I'll put the link in the chat. I'm going to invite the people on because we're for the people, about the people, always about the people. For the people, about the people. You just kind of reach a point, though, with this team where you know they're going to do something stupid. You know it. Either Joe Shane's going to overvalue someone and trade up, or you're going to have the likes of them trying to pull the wool over people's eyes by going, you know what we need to do? We need to get this guy. Because we're this, and I've said this, unless you're Elon Musk, if you think you're the smartest guy in the room, you're probably not. I mean, I always tell people always go, he's the smartest guy in the room. No, usually when you're the smartest guy in the room, you're usually the dumbest. And I kind of think, and I kind of perceive that in reference to some of the things that the Giants do. Big Don says, Jimmy G's girl is a popcorn star. I didn't know that. Maybe the Giants draft from Purdue. Maybe. Zach Attack says, Malik Willis got screwed by the Tennessee Titans and by Mike Vrabel. Yeah, you're right. Very good. You're very right. Hold on. But you do. Wait. Is it? Whoops. At the stage. T-Brad.
Yo.
I can't get you. I got you on camera, but I can't get you to come on the thing.
I'm here.
I hear you. I hear the voice. Now I don't hear the voice. Here we go. Let's see. For some reason, it's not allowing me to add you.
Oh wow!
There you go.
All right. Welcome to the
Oh wait,
show. It's
oh
T
wait.
Brad running the show for you.
Here you go. I got something called a solo layout, and then there's there I go. We'll just have the T Brad hour.
There we go.
It's the T Brad
this
hour.
this would be a bashing session of Joe Shane politics and how we arrived here, because that's where I'm at. I don't know how we arrived here. How did we become the Jets and the Browns in just 6 years?
In just
Pure
six
dedication.
short years, we
Yep.
beat the Browns.
Yep. We've doubled down on stupid. That's our biggest thing. We doubled down on stupid. Hey, uh, you see you're playing 21 blackjack. You see the dealer has an ace. You know what you do? You double down on your own bet with a seven showing. You know what I'm saying? It's just stupid. It's just a stupid move.
Listen, Joe Shane would double down on 21. Look, can we just be perfectly honest about that? And you know what's funny though? You say we're the Cleveland Browns, but the Cleveland Browns at least had 2 winning seasons since 18.
Yeah, yeah.
They had 2 11-5 seasons. They lost in the divisional round. And they lost in the wild card.
The worst thing that happened building the Giants was we won a playoff game.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing that happened. We won a playoff game, and I guess you've been down so bad you don't know what it's like to just be mediocre. So mediocre kind of feels like exceptional, and we're like, yeah, we're great. He won a playoff game on the road, and then you saw that clip that I sent you yesterday, you and James, and it's like, wait a minute, Joe, because I don't really remember that specific part of it. I'm like, hold up. Joe Shane just said we have to get other resources before we play Saquon Barkley because we have to see if Daniel Jones is a guy. Well, you should have known if he was a guy before you paid him, dummy. And then we lose 2 All Pros to bring in the 8 sack champion.
Wait, in all fairness, 8.5 sacks.
8.5. 8.5. Excuse me.
Give Brian Burns, what about Brian Burns? Give him his due.
All
NFL
stats
Network,
matter. I
NFL
apologize.
Network is wrong. He's not an 8-sack guy. He's an 8.5 sack guy.
I'm sorry. All stats
Yes.
matter.
Thank
But doing things all over, like the conversation we're having this year, should have been had last year. Last year, the Giants should have been saying, especially if with him quoted as saying, we got to see if Daniel's a guy. Well, with quarterback being the most important position in the NFL on the offensive side of the ball, and you're not sure if your $160 million quarterback is the guy, you had a chance to get Justin Fields. You had a chance to get Kenny Pickett. You had a chance to get Malik Willis. Now, I know people are going to say, whoa, all these guys, they haven't even proven anything. Well, neither has Daniel Jones, but at least you don't put us in desperation mode to get a quarterback this year. We could have went and got Joe Milton late in the draft last year. There were so many easy, cheap options to get a quarterback last year. Now this year we're looking to overspend for guys that people don't even know if they even like. It's like I don't have a date for the prom, but I'll take Cam Ward. You know what I mean? That's how people are looking at these quarterbacks this year.
That you don't have. I mean, little fun trivia fact. What quarterback had more wins than Daniel Jones this year in less games, and he wasn't even a starter?
Oh wow! Last year I'd say Tyrod Taylor. How many people was it? DeVito?
No, for another team.
Oh, for another team who has more.
Last year had started less games, had more wins.
Kenny Pickett?
Nope.
Gotta get to work.
It could be Willie Beeman. Yes, he's retired.
Malik Willis.
Oh.
3 wins for the Green Bay Packers.
He played good.
Matt LaFleur even came out and said, we are not getting rid of him. We don't make the playoffs without Malik Willis.
And the interesting thing is, if we would have, what did they trade? A 6th rounder to get Malik Willis?
6th round pick.
6th rounder. I don't know who we grabbed in the 6th round, but I'd rather have Malik Willis. And the reason I say that is if you have Malik Willis and you're building around Malik Willis, you might not know if he's the guy, but you're like, you know what, we're not that desperate to go get a quarterback this year. Let's try to get best player available and see what we got with this Malik Willis guy. We would have had last year to even take a look once we got rid of Daniel Jones.
I gotta drop Key in because I keep seeing a head going back and forward. Let's go, bro, man.
What's up, Tim?
I keep seeing the head going back and forth, coming in and out. I'm like, is
What's
he
up,
back
brother?
working again?
Yeah, I'm working right now, delivering.
He on company hours.
I was gonna, you know what? He's a company man. He comes on the show even when he's working, even when he's got packages to deliver, because he's gonna tell us something good about the Giants.
And his productivity hasn't slipped. His productivity has not slipped. He's still working.
Something good about the Giants?
Anything good about the Giants?
Our punter.
I don't even know about that.
You don't even know about that. I was gonna say. So like T-Brad, now you're reaching, man.
We got a good placeholder, like the guy who holds holds the ball for the extra points.
Isn't it the punter? I don't even know who our placeholder is. I think that's the worst part. I used to know these things, like, you know, I'm like with Jeff Rutledge and Hostetler and everyone else was the placeholder. Now it's like, who the fuck is our placeholder?
Hey Tim, you know how you gave up your tickets last year?
Yep.
Well, for next season, one thing I'm guaranteed not to do this season. I am not watching any Giants paid for media on the team. I'm
Good.
not doing it. Papa and all those guys, they get you to a point like, oh man, Daniel Jones looks good in practice. It's every year it's like a lie to sell the product better than what it is.
But in all honesty, that's their job.
I get it, but I don't have to support it.
Listen, if the New York Giants, and that's why I bash Carl Banks all the time, and Papa, and that's why Papa hates me. But if you paid me to work for the Giants, this would be a totally different channel. Daniel Jones was fucking screwed. We didn't give him an opportunity. There was no offensive line. There's no wide receivers. We never drafted anyone to help him. People. He got a man.
Tim, there's no way.
Best pick ever.
No way you'd sell out like that, Tim. Say it ain't so. That's like when Homie the Clan sold out. Don't do it, Tim.
Homie, don't play that. No, I wouldn't do that. I don't think I could do it. I think I would vomit. I told people, I think if I ever worked for the Giants, I would probably have the shortest tenure of any Giant broadcaster or media creator, because I'd just be like, no.
Yeah.
Nope. That's how I feel when I hear Stafford. No.
Oh, no. Don't get him. You will mess up our whole draft cap. Not draft cap, but salary cap.
But you know what? And that's the other thing that people don't get, Key. Matthew Stafford wants more. One of the problems in LA is he wants more money.
In my pocket.
Not to say he's not worth it either.
No,
just not for us.
At 37 years old, he wants more money. We lost Key there. Key is working. He is working right now, so that's probably why we dropped him. But he wants more cash. This is a good question from New York State of Mind. Who would you bring in as the quarterback? We talked about all the players that I don't like.
Money here, it's slim pickings, man. It is slim. It's the end of the night. All the good girls are taken at the club. The lights come on, and the options don't look any better. But you got to try to get something.
You need to be 2 shots deeper then.
Yeah. So for me, I'm definitely a fan of get one through the draft. Hopefully Ward or Sanders falls. That's option A. It's the first option I'd like to happen. Option B, something you have a little bit more control of, is getting a young free agent who has better years in front of them instead of behind them. I don't want trading for Stafford. I don't want trading for Cousins. I don't like somebody like Flacco. He's great if option A happens. If we get Sanders and we get Flacco, love it. But I like Justin Fields. Not that he's a world beater, but he's somebody with something to prove. He's somebody who needs to show what he can do. This is really like his last hurrah to be an NFL quarterback. So you're getting somebody who's got nothing to lose. I'd rather take that than probably anybody out there. Now, on some cheaper things where you talk about Tyler Heineke, I like that. I know there's Sam Howell might be out there, former Washington quarterback. I could take that. If Kenny Pickett's available, I'll take that. We just need somebody with an upside. We don't need somebody with the best days behind them.
Now,
Drew Lock.
Mr. McCormick, I love this, has good news.
Uh-oh.
Daniel Jones is available.
Yes, but we got to trade for him. Well, the only way we could get Daniel Jones is that wouldn't be a giant thing to just go get him in free agency. We make sure we trade a second and a fifth to get his services back. And then we sign him to like a $12 million a year deal. And then everybody say, damn, that Joe Shane, he's a savvy negotiator. He had him for $160 million. Now he's got him for $12 million.
Now he's got now he's got him for 12. I'm gonna try to drop Key back in here, but we're having some problems here. I don't know what's going on with YouTube here, but it's not allowing me to drop in two people at once. I don't know how to do this. Why is it not doing this? Let's see here.
YouTube
Key,
doesn't want us to have fun.
no, they don't want us to have fun. Key, I can't drop you in, Key. I'm gonna have to have you on next time because for some reason it's not allowing me. I couldn't even barely get T-Brad on. Now it's not allowing me to get a third guest, and I don't know why because I'm hitting all the right buttons.
Blame Elon Musk.
If you were Justin Fields, though, why would you want to come here?
Oh, you know why? Because you're gonna overpay me. You're gonna overpay me. It's my last hurrah to be a quarterback. And I already know that I can ask for more money from the Giants than anyone else. So that would literally be the only reason. And I know that I'm going to start here. My odds of starting are better with the Giants than just about anyone.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but it's if I'm trying to resurrect my career, and I know Russell Wilson is out in Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh came back to me with a $7 to $8 million contract offer. Let's say they come back 2 years, $16 million. And the Giants offer you. Wait, I'm not done yet.
I already have the answer, but go ahead.
I'm not done yet. The Giants offer you 1 year for 12 to be that bridge. You're Justin Fields. Where you staying? Where are you going?
Now you said 7-8 for 2 years.
I'm gonna say $8 million, 2 years to stay in Pittsburgh versus 1 for 12 in New York.
All right, let me do my math here. Who won more games over the last 5 years? Who's gonna have me in a better position to look good? Carry the 5. The coefficient. I'm gonna stay with Pittsburgh.
You think you're gonna stay? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you stay with Pittsburgh.
To your thing that what you said a minute ago that you would have to overpay him.
Yeah.
But I even think overpaying some of these guys
won't get it done. No, that's why we're in this desperation mode. Because we didn't have this conversation last year.
We overpaid all these guys last year. And we actually, if we want to be honest and we look at the true market value, we overpaid Bobby Okereke by about $5 million a year. Compared to what off-the-ball linebackers have been getting, the average maybe about $10 million. We paid him 15, 16.
And we underpay the people that we know are good, and we let them walk. You go be an all-pro somewhere else. I'm trying to save money here.
Let me see if I can't get Key back on here. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, I'm hitting add to stage, and it's saying it won't allow me to do it. Okay, let's try that again. Key man, I'm gonna have to have you on. I see you there, but I can't get you on. I can't get you. Every time I try to put you in, it kicks you out. So we're gonna have to have you on because I do want to talk to T-Brad a little bit. I'll have you on next time because I haven't seen T-Brad in a while. So I do want to talk to T-Brad a little bit more.
Hey, we got to stop once the weather settles in and gets like normal cold, not even cold because it's cold. Normal cold. Yeah, we gotta go by the spot again. Hang out.
My wife is 100% down for doing that.
Yeah.
And like I said, and now that we have, I don't know though, because now we have the robot bartender.
So
now we have that machine, and now we have like 1,000 capsules and all these bottles of alcohol all over the house.
Woo-hoo.
um, so if Justin Fields is out as the bridge, realistically, who do you think would come here, deal with the mess that is the Giants, deal with Joe Shane? Now, because we have to remember this, and I think people, consistency, continuity are certain times big things for free agents. And they don't want to go into a situation where it's just going to be a wreck, because I honestly think if things go as bad as I think they're going to go, especially with the home schedule, Shane and Dable could be fired. And it's not the Giants' way, but they could be fired by Thanksgiving.
I like it. If they're doing bad, I like it.
I mean, but if you're a quarterback, I mean, who would want to come here and say, listen, I'm going to come in because I like Brian Dable, let's say Mitchell. No one's talking about Mitchell Trubisky, because he was over in Buffalo. No one's. I'm not a Trubisky fan, but
that's a Giants move, though.
But
that is a Giants type move.
What would you do if you're a free agent? Why would you come here and say, okay, I really like the team, I like the philosophy, but you kind of know that maybe in 8 games into the season, everyone could be gone and it could be a different regime next year? Who outside of like maybe a quarterback at the very end of his contracts, looking for a lifeline, looking for a payday?
Jameis Winston will come here. I'm not a big fan of him coming here, but Jameis Winston will come. He's already trying to throw his hat in the ring. Nobody. Here's the thing. All the dates we want for the prom have dates.
Yeah. That's what I'm not trying to get with this free agency with Giants.
Everyone else has popped the balloon. That's the game they play. Everyone else has popped their balloon, and the ones with their balloons left unpopped, we really don't want. But we're like,
we are literally trying to go to the prom, and the prom is over.
Yes.
I mean that's the way I see this with this quarterback situation. What would you first of all, would you want to move up to first or second overall in this draft? And if you did, what would you give up to do that for the Giants?
Nope, not moving up.
If you had to.
If I had to, okay. Nothing that requires me to give up an additional first round pick.
Okay.
Nothing that it required, because you're only moving over one spot.
Right.
So if you want the first and second this year to first this year, that's fair. And I'd probably ask for like a late 5th or something like that. But if I got to give up multiple, this ain't going to be the same type of deal that got us Eli, where there's a first, a third, a fifth. And we're not doing all that.
There was rumors, and I don't know if these rumors are true, that they were looking for the Titans a swap of firsts and 2 third-round picks.
I could do that.
I could
do that. I could do that, and because it's a swap and 2/3, I could do that. But they gotta take Kayvon Thibodeau. I and any chance they like to take Kayvon Thibodeau and let us keep our 3rd-round pick?
No. People forget the Trubisky
trade
was a swap of 1s, 2 thirds, and a 4th, and they went up 1 spot.
I could do that.
I mean, I don't know if they would do it, but I mean, I saw that. I was like, I think I would do that. I think I would make, if I was Brian Dable, I would make that type of trade.
And I'm definitely more on the Cam Ward side of things than the Shedeur Sanders side of things. But if you get him, here's the thing. If you get up to number 1, you pick your poison.
Right.
You pick your poison. You set it for your team, and that's what it is. And if you get a number 1 pick and you get Cam Ward and Kyle McCord is still there in the 5th round, I believe you pick another. The Giants are so bad, you may draft 2 quarterbacks.
I think you should.
I think you have to draft 2 quarterbacks. Tommy DeVito's a joke. We know this. But we have to draft 2 quarterbacks. Just like the Washington did with Kirk Cousins. And who knew?
Well, yeah, and also
They got Robert Griffin and Kirk
and Kirk
Cousins later
Cousins.
in the same draft.
We also talk about the going even back a little bit further, the Heath Schuler and Gus Farad.
Ooh, yes.
I mean, you go back.
I thought Heath Schuler was going to be good
So did I.
out of Tennessee. I really liked Heath Schuler. I was like, man,
Even
he's
even
good.
when he went to the Saints, I thought there was going to be. I thought he was still going to be something.
No,
I'm gonna give you a free agent name, and I want to get back to the quarterbacks. But everyone's talking about the free agents in this draft,
Kenny
and
Pickett. I like that. I like Kenny Pickett.
I am going to give you a free agent name, and I want you to give me your what you think. And this is a fan name. This is a name that I see on X all the time.
Oh, Jesus.
That the Giants are going to go out and get this player. The Giants are
I
going to.
don't like it. Whoever it is, I probably
And
don't
they
like
are
it.
going to have to break the bank on this player, because he's coming off a $3 million contract over 3 years. I'm gonna say it. Trey Smith,
I don't even know who that is.
offensive lineman.
Oh, you know what? I was so locked in the quarterback. Trey
No,
Smith,
no,
really?
because you still, it's funny. You still got to put other guys around him.
Well, he's
Hard.
somebody. He's somebody who's supposedly real good, so you have to pay him
Well,
a lot of money.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's coming off his 3-year deal. He's a guard. He's probably going to want big money to leave Kansas City. Or no, I think he's been in the league for 4 years. I'm not exactly, but I know he's like 6'6", 321 pounds. He's a road paver. He is a guard. He's a guy to, he's a guy to bring in. But you're gonna, even if you have $60 million, are you going to commit $20 to $30 million of it for a guy like Trey Smith?
Here's my thing: if he doesn't have injuries, and you are going to overpay, and you have a young quarterback, it's great to put that type of money into that line so you can get a good evaluation of your quarterback to know if you need to spend 160 million to keep him. So if you are going to overspend, I'd be much happier overspending for this guy than we did for Brian Burns.
Now, see, I
And
agree with that. I agree with Zach on this. But I'm probably he's young, so I'm looking probably at a 5-year deal with incentives. I'm thinking you're probably looking at $130 million easy, and you're probably going to guarantee, because it's going to be his first big contract. You're probably going to have to guarantee 80-90 million.
well, I mean, we got a $40 million quarterback, and you got him there. It's not to.
No, we got a $22 million quarterback on dead cap space that's not even on the roster. That's what we have right now.
Oh my gosh!
But people forget, and I love the Joe Shane interview at the Senior Bowl when he's like, "Well, it was really a 2-year out on the contract." I'm like, "Motherfucker, you still have $22 million sitting there in dead cap space and no quarterback." so
We
right
got cooked.
now you're paying $23 million basically for Tommy DeVito.
Yep. Now, I'm not paying that because I wouldn't make that type of dumb move. But I don't get paid to make those type of decisions.
I'm gonna give you another name, another fan name. This is another fan name that you see on X in reference to free agency that we
I
have.
would break the bank on Trey Smith though. I'm fine with that.
Okay, you're fine with paying $120 million to a guard when you have an oft injured tackle in Andrew Thomas, and you're not even sure who's on the other side, and you just paid, not extensively, but you still have another year on the John Runyon deal. Who plays? Wait for it. Guard.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'll try to see what Mekhi Becton wants. Does he want to leave the Eagles?
Would you want to leave the Eagles?
No.
No.
And I hate the Eagles.
I mean, literally, if I'm Mekhi Becton, I would ask the Eagles, how much do you want me to pay you to stay? Because you just revived my career and gave me a Super Bowl ring. How much?
I thought we should have got him last year. I don't know what happened. We got John Runyon instead of him.
Because the nicest thing they can say about John Runyon coming out of Green Bay is don't pull the guard because he trips over his own feet. And his replacement, a 3rd-round pick, went on to be an All-Pro next year. But Stephon Diggs.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
You need another weapon.
Let's go to the draft.
Who are you going to take in the draft?
We got to find somebody, but we're not. I'd rather trade because now what's the name you just set up? What was the trade? Okay, I would rather trade the second round pick and maybe a future pick to get Wilson out of the Jets. I would look to trade to get a young wide receiver with upside before I go and get Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is meant for a team that's almost there.
Right.
He could be that difference maker for a team that's Stephon Diggs, perfect spot, landing spot to me, Kansas City. Perfect landing spot. He doesn't have to be the guy. He's got Mahomes. I think that's a perfect landing spot for him. For us, no way. No way.
ECK Sports wants to remind you we do have a Mekhi Beckham on the roster. His name is Evan Neal.
Well, Evan Neal's good. You can't mess up the 5 and 7 overall.
Can't miss. No one can screw up 5. Here's another name that I hear in free agency in the trade free agency because they're potentially going to let. I don't think you're going to let Cooper Kupp walk, but that's. I mean, again, if you read the LA media, it's a lot different than what people on X are saying. Cooper Kupp.
If we don't overpay to get him, which we and I have to say grossly overpay because the Giants are going to have to overpay. It's just where we've put ourselves. If you don't have to grossly overpay to get Cooper Kupp, I like it.
Now, Cooper Kupp is going to probably get released. And if he does get released, well, I don't think he is, but if he does get released, the majority of his salary, of course, for next year is going to be picked up by the Rams because Cooper Kupp in 2025 has almost a $30 million dead cap number and only a base salary of $12 million plus. So he's about a $22 million salary. So he's and Cooper Kupp is toward, he's 30 something years old. So would you you would probably have to still match Cooper Kupp around 18 to 20 plus million. I don't think he's going to take it. I don't think he's
going
to
go to the draft
and take a team friendly deal because of the fact that someone else is flipping the bill for that season.
We're gonna. He's probably gonna want to go somewhere he can win. He may call Kansas City and say, hey, or he may call the Ravens and say, hey, you need a veteran wide receiver or Buffalo or whatever, wherever he wants to do. Deebo Samuel to New York.
5 years, $20 million, fully guaranteed. You doing that?
Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's interesting.
Now remember,
Deebo Samuels is very interesting.
Deebo Samuels is a little bit of a malcontent, a little bit of a knuckle case in San Francisco.
That would be the only reason because I'm just realizing that the New York Giants fan base is very conservative. We don't like people who say things like this and do things like that. So I don't think him and Malik Neighbors. I mean, we're only 2 years off of trading Malik Neighbors now.
Right.
So I like the idea on paper, but here's the thing. If you're getting a quarterback, you got to put the best pieces around that quarterback to see if you even have a quarterback. So we got Deebo Samuels. I wouldn't be against it. I would not be against it.
People forget Deebo is still under that 3-year, $71 million contract where he's being paid almost $24 million a year. So he's going to be 30. Is he going to be 30 next year? Or he's going to be 30 in 2026? So you're going to probably have to pay more than the 3-year 71 that he's complaining about. Can you do that for his production?
No, here's the thing. When we start doing stuff like that, we continue doing the same old ish. And I think that what the Giants have been doing is, you got a deck out here, you got boards all messed up, but the whole deck's messed up, and we're like patching up the boards and this instead of just getting a new deck. Like when you look at teams like the Eagles, it's not a whole lot of free agent stuff going on. They drafted well. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They drafted well. Look at Buffalo. They drafted well. All these teams, they're like the Final Four. They drafted well.
Out of curiosity, how many 1,000-yard seasons do you think Deebo Samuels has in his 6-year career?
Running or receiving?
Well, it's funny. Deebo Samuels, and this is why I get a little concerned about people. I don't think they quite understand football. Deebo Samuels' most rushing yards in a single season was 365. But how many in 6 years do you think Debo Samuels has for 1,000-yard seasons?
I'd say 2.
Nope.
Just 1?
He's got 1.
Wow.
His most receiving yards after that 1,400-yard season in 2021. Now that's in 2021. Was in 2023 where he had 892.
Mm.
His most receiving rushing yards was that same season in 2021 with 365. Then it's gone from 232, 225, 136.
But to be fair, when they got McCaffrey, a lot of things changed for them. They started running a little bit more.
But what does a good run, and you know this, what does a good running back do to the passing game?
It should open it up.
So I mean, can you really pay a guy over 3 years, 71 million for 800 yards? He's I mean, I'm not bashing Debo Samuels, but right now
No, it's the same thing with Brian Burns, an 8.5 sack guy. I get you.
He is a better Curtis Samuels.
Ooh, damn.
Yes. If you take a look at Curtis Samuels statistically compared to Debo Samuels over the last couple of years, he's a better Curtis Samuel.
Damn, that's serious allegation. But I to be honest, I think wide receiver we gotta buy low, I guess. Try to see if we can find somebody and get that spark because the what's the guy who never we got out of Tennessee? He never does anything.
The guy we got out of Tennessee,
Wide receiver. He's on the team now.
Who did we get out of Tennessee?
Jalen Hyatt.
Oh,
yeah.
I was thinking Tennessee. I was thinking Tennessee
Titans. No. Yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah, Jalen Hyatt, man. Jalen Hyatt is like somebody like you thought could be something, but he's not gonna be that something. So we have to try to find, even in the draft, we have to find a way to make it happen. Like even if we didn't get a quarterback, I like one of the sneaky moves I thought would be cool if we traded back would be to trade back and get that wide receiver from Arizona State. So by the time we are ready to get a quarterback, weapons are there.
You want to laugh?
Always.
How many touchdowns do you think Debo Samuels has in his career?
6 years.
Receiving touchdowns, 6 years, been in the league since 19.
Oh, receiving, you changed the game up. He's got a lot of rushing touchdowns.
Actually, the most he ever had in a single season was 8.
That's still a lot for a wide receiver.
But he's not really a wide receiver. He's kind of a little jack of all trades.
How many touchdowns in 6 years? Let's see. I'll give him 45. 45 touchdowns in 6 years.
22. How many touchdowns do you think Curtis Samuel has in 7 years?
I don't know.
23.
So you were disrespecting Curtis Samuels when he said that.
I am. But again, he's one of these guys that he had one, to Zach's point. I mean, to ECK's point, he had one good season 3 years ago.
Right.
Darren Waller. I'm not looking at you. And then
Daniel Jones.
And he hasn't done anything since. But he is the object of the affection to overpay for New York Giant fans.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes that's what most times that's what you be doing. Looking at the stats, looking what is your impact on that team? What is your win-loss on that team? So on and so forth.
Oh, the Knicks play the Cavaliers tonight? I didn't know that. I didn't know that the Knicks playing the Cavaliers. Knicks, of course, coming off that big win in Chicago against Chicago yesterday, so we got to make sure we keep bringing that up. New York State of Mind says, Tim, I agree with you. Bring in a rookie and let him play for the fans. Only say you are going to ruin him possibly. This is the thing. This is the thing I wanted to go back to in bringing a draft and a rookie quarterback. The reason I don't want to bridge, because everyone's like, you have to have the mentor. You have to have the mentor. And I've said it before. Well, you have the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the passing coordinator, and the quarterback's coach. This is the guys that are going to mentor the kid. He's not always going to be the guy in the room. Because Ryan Tannehill came out and said, I'm not mentoring Malik Willis. I'm not even going to talk to the fucking guy.
Wow.
He did. And then I love it because then the next year, him and Will Levis were buddies. He was like, I'll do anything for Will. But I say you draft a Shador, you draft a Cam Ward. Day one, you say, you're my guy. I don't care if you throw 7 interceptions. I don't care if you throw whatever. You are going to learn on the job. And some people will say, well, that will ruin a quarterback. Well, the Giants did it with Phil Simms in 79. They didn't do it with Eli Manning. And I kind of think in some regards, they slowed the growth of Eli Manning early on because they didn't let him play because they were 7-6 and going towards the playoffs. And then Coughlin just said, no, we're not. We're a bad team. We should just play the rookie. I mean, I know some people say, well, it could be a David Carr scenario where he takes a beating and he never recovers. He sacks 78 times in a year. But if you're building an offensive line around your rookie, why would that matter?
I think Cam Ward is more built to start now.
I do 100%.
I think Shador Sanders, even though he understands, I think far as seeing the field, Shador Sanders is amazing. I think his accuracy is amazing, but I think Ward is a better athlete. He's more physical, so he can take more shots. Even though Sanders has been sacked 1,000 times, he's already dealt with a bad offensive line. So Shador Sanders knows what it's like. But I think the ball just flies off of Ward's arm. It's a lot stronger, it seems like. So if we got Ward in there and started him day one, I feel more comfortable with that than Sanders. Sanders, I would like just a little bit of a bridge because Sanders is, and this is just getting into the individual. He's a spoiled rich kid.
Yeah, 100%. I've said that. I've been saying
Yeah,
that.
don't get me wrong. He's a spoiled rich kid. Not to say that he didn't earn everything that he got in college football. I'm not saying his dad is the only reason he played football and
Well,
played quarterback.
let's actually put it this way. Daddy Neon has been his coach since high school.
Right. So I'm not saying that's the only reason because I see
No,
the
I
skills.
agree. I agree. I think he's
Yeah,
talented.
I see the skills, but I think he needs to be in New York where nobody cares who your dad is, nobody cares what kind of sponsors you have. You have to win effing games. And then you can be as swagged out if you want to. You can be as arrogant as you want to. It ain't talking trash if you can back it up. I don't care. But I think you need to come in somebody with Sanders' pedigree needs to come down, be knocked down a peg, and then start. Cam Ward, he's somebody who had to earn every little thing he got because he came from a different background. He came from the mud. He had to earn it all. And he's used to the ups and downs. When he went to Washington State, he's used to those ups and downs. So you get him in there, I think mentally tough. I think his mental toughness is probably going to be better and more suited for a New York style of criticism.
Oh, I agree 100%. I think Cam Ward is more of the ready product. And thank you, Razzle the Great. Razzle the Great says, slap that like button or otherwise no one hears Tim. Yeah, do that. Hit the like button.
Yeah, Slap did that shit.
Lap it. I agree, though. I think Cam Ward is a more immediate quarterback. And I've said it before. I worry about Shador Sanders' attitude in New York. Not that I think he's a bad kid, but to your point, he's I'm not going to say he's a spoiled rich kid because I don't know him, but he comes from privilege and comes from NFL royalty. So he may think there's more of a cachet with that he might not have to do certain things that a guy like Cam Ward would have to come in and do immediately. And like I said, I was at the start of the season, I was not a big Cam Ward fan. I fully admit that. I liked Carson Beck, but then I saw the pendulum swing and I saw it go around, and I'm in Camp Ward since probably December.
I told you early.
You did.
I told you early. I said, yo, Beck is Daniel Jones 2.0.
You did.
That is not what you want.
You did. You did, but you also like Sam Hartman.
I sure did. I sure did. I sure did.
Should have came out that year. Should never hit the transfer portal. But you said Carson Beck was Daniel Jones, and I went off the film from the other year, and I thought he was going to make that step, and I'm just kind of curious to see what he does in Miami replacing a Cam Ward.
Right.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's going to be something that's could be interesting.
And you know what? I think it was smart for him to go there. First of all, to get all the money he got, that's crazy. I love that for the kids. I
Oh,
love that for the
the transfer
young.
portal? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love it for the young athletes. But one thing that he's doing there, he's setting himself up for if Cam Ward's the number one or number two quarterback off the board this year, all I have to do is go out and win games like he won games. That's it.
And do what he does. You know, it was funny. I was talking to Big Don yesterday, and we figured out I still have 2 years of eligibility. So I'm thinking of hitting the transfer portal.
Let's do it.
I'm going to say, why not? I mean, who doesn't want a 50-year-old safety?
You
Come
think
on.
you could get Black Rifle Coffee to
I think
hook you up on something?
I want at least $1 million to go. So I want $1 million to go to Ohio State.
See, you want to get overpaid. That's your problem. You know what I need?
I want to get overpaid.
Just give me like 250,000. I don't need much.
You're worth more than that. I love this for Dennis. Sanders is chasing the legacy. Cam Ward is a 0-star recruit that'll always be compared to. He will always be compared to the prodigal son. I like the road laid out before Cam much more. I agree. I mean, I to that point, I do think that Cam Ward would be. I think I'm not saying that Cam Ward is like the blue collar guy, but
Right.
he kind of gives you a little bit of that Phil Simms vibe. He doesn't give you the Eli Manning vibe because Eli Manning was NFL royalty of sorts with Archie Manning. But he had that pedigree, and he doesn't have anything to live up to outside of his own name. Razzle said, I used to live 4 minutes from the MU campus. There's a lot of distraction. I mean, a lot. Beck better be ready to play. Yeah, I lived in Miami for years, so you get down to South Beach, there's going to be a lot of problems. But that's like any college campus, though. I mean, you go down to Gainesville. I mean, I've been down the bars down in Gainesville, and that's I think that was even worse to some of the places I went to on South Beach. So
Here's the thing: you come to New York, you had better, at least in my opinion, you had better be from a place like Miami. And like if you're a homebody, you're a mature homebody type of person, like you don't going out is not important to you, then you won't get sucked in by New York. But if you're a guy that's going out already and you're in Miami and you can handle and say no to a lot of things that come with being a good Miami Hurricane player, uh, then you probably you at least have that part of it down for being a professional in New York. I can give you that.
listen, and we have to be honest that Miami is not what Miami was back in those 80s teams and those early 2000 teams. Now, anyone that knows anything about those teams, understands the South Beach moniker.
The South Beach White Diet.
Yeah, the South Beach White Diet. Yes, they
love the old bump and run defense.
back in the 80s, man. You were in Miami. You were a Hurricane. People forget that you were more popular than the Dolphins.
Yeah, that was wild.
I mean, you go to the club, they would throw out Miami Dolphins just so the third string tight end from the Hurricanes could come in.
Yeah, the Hurricanes were a phenomenon.
And the U back in the day, when back in the 2000s, with those championship teams and all the players that got drafted that one year, we even picked up a Miami Hurricane and Shockey.
Yep.
I mean, that was another time that it was a crazy place to be in Miami. And a lot of those guys though had phenomenal careers, those early 2000 teams. So I mean,
that was like NFL youth. Miami University was NFL youth for a short period of time.
Yeah. But and now, like I said, so nowadays it's a little different than it was back in. It's a little bit different back in the days. But like I said, I hope Carson Beck plays well. On a final note, because we're gonna wrap this up because I'm gonna go have lunch. Where
are we going for lunch? What we got going on today? Doing Italian? What we got?
It's funny. There's an Italian deli, just right down the street, and they make the most fun. I mean, the most phenomenal food, and they do it all there, and it's family run, and they make this eggplant parmesan. That is probably, and Tiffany loves it, it's probably the best eggplant parmesan I've ever had.
Nice.
And they have these other things on the menus where they have these full meals. And I kept telling Tiffany, I want to just go there and get like a meal and bring it back and see what it is, because we get a lot of they sell a lot of frozen food as well that they make, which has been just phenomenal.
Right.
And they have what they call Meatball Madness on Thursday, where you buy like 2 packs of meatballs. They give you this big tub of sauce with it. So we throw that in the freezer as well. So I'm thinking about running down, and oh my God, the Italian bread that they make, the loaves that they make it. I mean, they're huge, and they usually don't sell them, but I go there and they'll sell me a couple loaves of bread, of the Italian bread. So
Right.
I'm a little excited. I'm a little bit excited about that.
Yep. Gotta love it. Enjoy.
So I'm gonna, but you know what? We got, like you keep saying, when it gets warmer, we got to make a run.
Or consistent. This weather is all over the place, man.
Well, I think it's supposed to be 30 now.
This weather doesn't know what it wants to do.
Freaking snowed last year. I don't know about you, but it snowed here.
Sure, it was snowing yesterday. We got a little flurry action. Nothing stuck, but just some flurries. I'm
you
like,
got flurries? We got like an inch of snow.
Nah, you can have it.
Well, yeah, that's what everyone keeps freaking telling me.
You can have it.
At the end of the day, T. Brad, final thought for you. We're closing it out here. We're got an hour and 30 in here. What's your final thoughts for the 2024 season's over?
Right.
2025 season hasn't started yet. I'll start in a couple of weeks. Just give me your general thought on the start of the 2025 season for the New York Football Giants.
I don't expect much to have changed as far as positivity in the way of wins and losses. We will still be a 3 to 5 win team. And those are very optimistic numbers. We have to understand as fans, we're trying to set together the building blocks of just being a mediocre team. Let's try to get it to mediocre, and then we can build to be better. And I just have to go in here looking at all the bad stuff is done already. It's already done. Like you said, last year happened. We shit the bed. Not us. The person in charge of making decisions shit the bed. But we're here, and we have to just be dedicated to putting something together where, hey, we might lost games, but man, that quarterback looks good, man. As soon as we get him a wide receiver, or we got to put something together, and I think that's just where we're at. Wait and see.
Right now, how many wins?
3.
3 again.
3 again. And you all laughed at me last year when I said, I said, we're only winning 3 games. Oh, no, we'll win more than 3. No, we will not.
I said 5 wins.
Yep. I said, we are a 3-win team.
You did say we were a 3-win team. I said this was a 5-win team. You did say that this was a 3-win team. 100%.
And I'm not rooting for 3. I'm not rooting for 5. I'm rooting for 10 to 12. I'd love to make a great turnaround. But we have to be realistic, too. I'd also like Santa Claus to come and get all the gifts for us, but we've got to be realistic.
We talk about being realistic. And I've said this before, when Daniel Jones signed that contract, I said this is going to set the team back 5 years, that we may not be good again to anywhere between 2027 2028, because you would still have to draft your quarterback. You have to get a cap, but we're not going to go through that again. When do you think, looking at this scenario right now, where we've come from and where we're going, and I'm not saying competitive, but when will the Giants in your mind actually be good again? Not competitive, good. A playoff caliber team. Not saying a Philadelphia Eagle playoff team.
I couldn't tell you when, until we won't be good. I won't give you a time, but we won't be good until we get a franchise quarterback. And it's just that simple. I'm not saying the first year we get one, but we won't be good until we get one. So
let's
say we get one this year, then I'll say we got 2 years to be good. If we don't get one this year, we got 3 years. Just by every year we don't get one, push it out another year.
Fabian says 2045. 2045. I think that's.
By then the Eagles have like 6 championships.
I think that's a good thing. Here's what worries me. How long has the Jets been looking for a franchise quarterback? How long has the Cleveland Browns been looking for a franchise quarterback? How long have the Jacksonville Jaguars been looking for a franchise quarterback?
Yep.
I mean, if we're going to put in that caveat, Fabian could be right. It could be 2045 when Archie Manning Jr., Senior, Junior comes out of college.
We have to climb out. The saddest thing is, I remember when the Giants were like bad, but we were third in the NFC East.
Right.
We are now fourth in the NFC East in talent and wins. So we have to climb past at least two people. We have to pass Dallas and Washington, and we're way behind Washington because they got a franchise quarterback.
And Chicago way behind, and we're way behind the Eagles. I mean, the whole division.
Let's not put the Eagles in there. The Eagles are so far ahead. The Eagles are looking to start a dynasty right now.
Well, and this is what I don't understand. Haven't they done that already? They've gone to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. They're in the beginning stages of a dynasty. You can't be a dynasty till you get like multiple Super Bowls.
Right.
But you got people that won in, what was that, the year 18. Now they're back in 2024. They went, and then they just lost 2 years ago. They're like a perennial going to the Super Bowl type team, and who's going to stop them?
Well, that's my other thing, because people forget if you look over like the last 8 years, I think it is, they've gone to 3 Super Bowls and won 2. I mean, that's how. I know I keep saying I'm gonna wrap
but
this up.
Daniel Jones won a playoff game, so he's better than Jalen Hurts.
He's better than Jalen Hurts. I keep saying I'm gonna wrap this up, but I do have a question, and I want to do a video about this, and maybe I'll have you and James come on. How far apart do you think the Giants are from the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't think Dallas doesn't really have they don't really have that great a team. They've got some great names, CD Lamb, Parsons, but my cousin's a Cowboys fan, and he's the one who told me just how bad. He said Dak Prescott sucks. I was like, nah, man, he's pretty good. He said, yo, he sucks. And when we watch games together, I was like, yo, I didn't know he sucked this bad, dude. You're right. I was like, yo, you right, bro. He's got some good highlights out there, but he's not a good quarterback, in my opinion. So I think they're caught up in that contract. So I don't think we're that far off of Dallas, but Dallas will still turn the corner before us because we're just that bad.
Well, I mean, they even with all the issues Dallas had last year, they were still a 7-win team. They came off of 3 consecutive seasons of 12-5. Which is interesting that you come off 3 consecutive seasons of 12-5. Yes, I understand the playoff issues, and then go 7-10, and then you get rid of your head coach. I mean, we have 3 playoff years in a row at 12-5, and having 7-10. We're still dancing naked in the streets. I mean, we're not firing our coach,
right?
So that's I'm just trying to think, because I look at the Dallas roster. And you still really think that they still have Dak, and Dak, for all of his faults, is still an NFL quarterback. You look at the team, and I still look at it as I would still think we're probably. I don't think we're beating Dallas in 2025.
No, I don't believe so. Not at all.
I mean, even if you throw out Trey Lance, like, people forget he's still on the team. But if you look at their defense, and you look at some players that are coming back, you look at these players that they have. I mean, I still think we're 0 for the division next year.
We very well can be. The problem with me is I have zero confidence in the people making the decision, because they're the same people who made the decisions last year.
Right.
And their explanations of the decisions that they made are even more terrible than when they made it. Like, hey, would you do anything different? Nope.
No.
I think we did the right. That's just a sign of stupidity. You hold no accountability. Like, yeah, we might have got that wrong. And I think people would have respected that. Like, yeah, we might have got that wrong. I didn't know he had that much left in the tank. It would have been respectable. But because this guy, and you said this before, Tim, we have a guy who's desperate to hold on to a job, so we probably will get overpaying here and overpaying there. What about Brian Burns? We're going to get another. What about Brian Burns type of player in there? He'll do the Debo Samuel type thing.
Is it stupidity or arrogance with Joe Shane?
Arrogance is the cousin of stupidity sometimes. I think,
The stepchild of stupidity.
yeah, I think Barkley was all arrogance. I
I
believe.
think Barkley was that. I do think that. I don't think it was stupidity. I do think that was arrogance, and that's
Yeah,
where I was going.
I think it was arrogance, and I think the Giants as a fan base are very arrogant. Because we're, oh, yo, you want to be a Giant for life? Like, what? Okay, what do I get? Is there any extra trinkets I get for being a Giant for life? And Barkley should have. Joe Shane offered him a deal. He should have took it. If it's not, if it's under, if it, that's like someone saying, "Hey, I could come fix your ceiling fan. It's going to be $350," and I said, "Nah, I'll pay you about $150." Well,
Yeah,
he's not going to come and do the job for me because I'm offering him less than his electrician skills will allow him to work for. So Joe Shane handled that very arrogantly. I would have been fine if he franchised him and traded him last year. I would have been like, hey, if you're not going to pay him and this is what makes it stupid, along with arrogance. It's not like, because Barkley said it best. Well, before he hung up the phone, well, will you give us a chance to match it? Barkley said, "You know where I want to be.
right.
Like,
You already have my number. You already have the
you've
figures.
you've got the figures. I
Yeah,
put it on paper and I'll sign."
right.
So you took the fact that you thought this guy, because of his age, was only going to command $8 to $9 million. You thought that you gave him such a great deal, which it wasn't, and he proved that it wasn't, and so did the Philadelphia Eagles. They proved that it wasn't. So that was all arrogance. You could have easily at the trade deadline said, "You know what? I'll trade him out to Baltimore.
Right.
Baltimore's a team," and I thought, and this was before they had Derrick Henry, mind you. I'll trade him to Baltimore. Let's get him over to
If you
Baltimore.
get a second round pick or a third round pick and a second and a five, yeah,
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, are we happy we got rid of Barkley? No, but we got something for him. And oh, we're going to get a compensatory pick. What are we going to get? A third round pick, which equates to the first pick in the fourth round?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
You had control.
my thing with Barkley is this, and I think the fans don't get this. Every fan will tell you, I've heard it from Bad Dog, I've heard it from other content creators. Well, the Giants offered him all this money. The Giants gave him all this money. And it turned out that only the first year of the deal was guaranteed, and a majority of the money was incentive based. So while it was similar to the Eagles contract in reference to the dollar figure, there was less guaranteed money. And when something is incentive based, that doesn't mean that's guaranteed. So the
Not
Eagles
at all.
guaranteed him the 28 million or whatever it was, and the Giants said, we're only going to guarantee your first year salary. Some of your incentives some of your bonuses are incentive based, and we're only going to guarantee like a quarter of year two. So I think only like $12 million or $13 million of the total contract was guaranteed, when the Eagles guaranteed like 28.
Right. And when you look at it, and this is what I try to tell people who didn't understand. They understood the surface of it, but they didn't understand everything. Like, oh, he just wanted to go to Philly. He just jumped ship. No, that's not who he was. First of all, he's an amazing locker room guy, amazing community guy. To you are blessed to have a person like that in your building. Very talented, not arrogant, people person, just what you want. And you're telling me you couldn't just say, "Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and guarantee you that."
Yeah.
And you could guarantee the money early in the contract. You could guarantee the money early in the contract. Hold on one second.
There you
My,
go.
dau- my daughter's cooking something, and I guess I have to taste it.
I was going to say, there you go.
But yeah, it's and even don't even get me started with the McKinney stuff, because
We don't have to make anything.
McKinney said early, "I ain't taking no discount."
Right.
He said, "I'm not taking no home team discount, none of that." You have two good young players in the prime of their breaking into the prime of their career and their physical athletic ability who you don't want to pay. You want to pay the 8.5 billion sack guy. You don't want to pay these people. And if you've had as an owner or general manager, you've made the decision that you're not going to pay these guys. I'm a fantasy football owner. I know to dump them.
Yeah.
Even I know to dump them. You just say, you know what? Hey, who wants to trade him? Who wants to trade for him? You put his name out there, you get something for him. Now, guess what? You take Barkley last year, you take McKinney last year. If you would have traded these people, you have all kinds of draft capital to move anywhere you want in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. Protects wants to know if it was good though.
My kids don't make nothing bad.
That's what every
Not a thing.
That's what every parent
It's
says.
always good. Hey,
My kid's an angel.
hey. No, I didn't say my kids are angels.
I was gonna say I'm
I
one of
didn't
the
say
few,
that.
I'm one of the few people. I was like, no, my kid's not an angel.
No, I'm gonna say when my daughter cooks. But what's my daughter's doing right now is she's making platters. She sells platters on Fridays. So I'm about to say I can take you backstage and show you the process.
I want to see.
You want to see the process? All
Yeah,
right.
I want to see.
Egypt. Book, I'm sharing something.
While you were doing that, I also want to thank Fabian for being a
No, it's not
non-winner
Uncle
for the
Sam.
last 3
We're
years.
seeing the process here.
Oh, I want to see. We want to see the
What
process.
are you making? What are you making?
What is it called? The jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken?
Jerk chicken and shrimp bowl.
How was it?
Oh,
Like a nice chutney. Hold on, we're sharing this with everybody. Everybody's seeing this.
I'm
stuff
allergic
tonight.
to shrimp, so that might kill me. But that does look really good.
That's a nice sauce right there.
Good.
That's
Oh, that's the dip.
Yeah, I don't think that's sauce. It looked like it was a dip.
And what you got over here? And this is the jerk chicken setup right here.
Oh, I like it. I like it. I like it. How are we cooking that?
For Jasmine Rice, she's going to grill. You're gonna grill that? She's going to grill the chicken.
She's gonna grill the chicken. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Over rice. See, we don't always fry it.
We don't, but you don't always fry. Racist.
Took a second for you to catch that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
we don't
got it.
always fry
I was just laughing at myself because I was gonna have a response, and I'm like, well, sometimes I say things to people in private that I wouldn't say out loud. In 100 couple people settings. So.
Hey, I'm born in the '70s, bro. It's pretty hard to.
Oh, I know. I've said shit to you and James. But
Yeah, we can joke it up. I'm fine.
yeah,
As long as you can take it.
some people take it the wrong. Some people might take it the wrong way. But I do want to thank Fabian for being an online Big Blue member for the last 3 years. OG member. That's and Fabian, you have been a supporter for a long time and been around forever. And I always get upset when you disappear because sometimes you disappear for a couple of weeks and we don't hear from you. But where is she selling the platters at?
She just sells them to people in her school, people in the family, people that she knows. She'll just put something on I'm about to say Facebook. I'm sorry, that's for old people. But she'll put something on Instagram, and when she throws it up, people will like, oh yeah, I'll take 2, I'll take 3, and she puts them together today, and then goes out and runs them out around 3 o'clock.
If you're interested in getting some food from T. Brad's daughter, go to MySpace.
no, MySpace. But
Facebook.
yeah,
What the hell's wrong with you,
she
Facebook?
lives in the South Jersey area.
So now everyone's hungry. Great, I love it. Now literally everyone is hungry. Right?
Well, it is technically lunchtime.
It is lunchtime, and I did say I was going to get out of here, and I am going to get out of here right now. This is Tennessee Return Straight Talk. Hi, everyone. Like Big Blue LLC. Want to thank everyone for coming in. Want to thank Fabian. Want to thank just everyone in general. Want to thank T. Brad and everything else. Have yourselves a good day. We're out of here. See you sometime next week.